Welcome to The Kid is in School, where we talk about whatever we want since our kid is not here to interrupt us. But we don't have a lot of time before the bell rings, so let's get right into it.
All right, we have another podcast that we're doing, and it is actually Luke and Abby.
Yes.
It is not some sort of AI-generated fake version of us. Just
Yeah, I don't know. It could be.
Chat GPT, whatever it is, typing it in and letting it produce a podcast for us.
Oh, but if only. You know, we could have a real vacation if we could just get an AI to duplicate our voices and our disagreements.
That would be an interesting thing to do, like to just create a podcast entirely via AI, but it's a fake. It's not the real people, but if the AI is good enough, it would be able to predict.
It couldn't be, yeah, as long as it knows to go for 3 hours if it's a celebrity podcast and to be very boring and self-indulgent, then I think it could be successful. Because people just want to hear the voice wash over them, right? They don't really want to learn anything, do they?
You are clearly not a podcast listener.
No, I'm not.
You're like,
I'm mocking the podcast listeners.
You're like, I want it to just be white noise.
Yeah.
That is not what bad podcast listeners want. A lot of them want to learn, and they're very nerdy with all of that. Or they want to be entertained. They want to laugh. Or they want to know the people. It's a deep connection that people have with podcasts. But I wonder if you can do AI or deep fakes, because like deep fakes, if people don't know what it is, but it's definitely becoming more prevalent, just taking celebrities or people that we know from pop culture, taking their likeness and their voice, it actually reproduces their voice and makes them say or do things that they never did.
Right, and it's very authentic, so it's hard to not know that it's happening.
Authentic sounding and looking, but it's the opposite of authentic.
Yeah, I'm saying it's very convincing. Sorry, the word I was looking for is convincing. Unlike the deep fake or it's not a deep fake, the mimicking of Keanu Reeves, where they take his face on TikTok. There's a guy that looks like Keanu Reeves, or he superimposes Keanu's face and he cleans your house for you. So it's like, this is what it's like when Keanu cleans for you. It's like, I called that a deep fake and you were like, it's not that deep if you can tell that it's fake.
It's just fake.
It's just fake.
Which is kind of what impersonators used to be, like an Elvis impersonator.
Right.
It's a fake, but it's not the real thing. Now, I guess if you get enough AI generated imagery there, you can just have Elvis. You don't have to have a fake Elvis.
I thought the original deep fakes were in Forrest Gump, but now I think you have a funnier joke, which is the original deep fakes are celebrity impersonators.
Celebrity impersonators.
Because on an off night, they go to the Olive Garden and try to get everything for free.
The Hollywood Walk of Fame, Times Square, Vegas, just the people that pretend to be other.
No, but I'm saying they go out in the real world and then they try to get some free stuff.
Yes.
They're like, 1 ticket to see Bridges of Madison County, please. Oh, yes, it is me, Meryl Streep. And they're like, wow, you're seeing your own film, Miss Streep. Come on in.
But with the AI, I guess they would have to hold up a phone and show a screen of the fake, because it won't work in real life. You don't look like the person in real life. So
yeah, I don't know. Well, that's just the thing. I've seen AI used as, I think I've seen it like in an article or something. It'll say this corporation now uses AI greeters instead of security guards, or instead of what's it called, executive assistants or something. And so for me, that almost seems pointless, because this is a job that anybody could do. You don't have to be a super smart computer to do it. Like, you should leave the dumb jobs to people. Don't you think?
Well, see, I mean, why they would do that is it's cheap. And people don't come in, computers don't come in hungover.
Right.
Or mess
eat
something
the
up.
Captain Crunch on their desk.
Right. And so
no bowl.
They can get it cheap and efficient. Now, I'm sure there's, issues with all of that, but, it's all about money.
I'll tell you the issue with it. You're using a computer screen, and computers break.
Well,
they can go on the fritz.
I guess that's true. iPads break all the time. You just buy a new one.
I'm the person that didn't think anything would come from TV. I'm in radio right now going like, TV, what do you want TV for? You can't. It doesn't have the sound quality of a radio star. You don't want to see their pimples.
Yes, it's well, the thing is, it's in terms of front facing, jobs.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it's called. Public facing, like where you're dealing with other human beings.
Mm-hmm.
I think human beings a lot of times want there to be somebody they can connect to, a face
Aha.
they can see. But if it's all over screen, like with Zoom and everything that we've done now, you don't need a real person. You could just have an AI version of somebody on a screen in a Zoom screen talking to someone else, being a secretary or executive assistant, and dealing with them, and you wouldn't need the other.
Yeah, it was. You're right, though. It would start to feel very lonely if I knew instinctively that every quote unquote human I'm interacting with for my job is really just a computer system.
I suppose.
I think so. You're right about the connection thing. People would miss it. They think the corporations as a beast would want to save the money, but then the people that are a part of the corporations would say something's wrong here. That's going to be a future Black Mirror episode, I bet you.
Well, see, the thing I think about it is, and I keep saying the thing is the the idea in film is always that AI is dangerous. It's going to take over the world. Terminator is an example of that. Terminator 2, it's going to lead to the apocalypse. We have
Right.
Judgment Day coming. The machines become sentient and
Because
and
they'll hate
self-aware.
humans for some reason,
Right, and they
right?
want to wipe them out because humans are the threat to the planet and everything.
Ah.
It's so much more boring than that. And I don't know if we'll ever get to that. It's secretaries. You can have them be a secretary, or they can be customer service chats.
Mm-hmm.
That's really boring. And it's also even boring to have them creating poetry or artwork.
Mm-hmm.
Is that even a real thing? Because art, what is art? You have to start asking questions about these things. What is art? Is it a expression of a human soul and connecting to that, or is it just aesthetically pleasing things that a human go, oh, that's pretty?
Well, are you saying it's not a threat then if you let AI take over art? Are you saying it is a threat?
I didn't say one way or another.
Well, one you said it's boring, so it's not like a physical threat the way Terminator envisioned. It's not going to attack us. They really don't. They don't have a feeling one way or the other because they don't care. But is it a threat on our society if it starts to take over our art?
Well, I don't even know that they're taking over art. It's the same way that it's like, did Walmart selling paintings take over the art business? It's like, well, we don't consider that fine art. That's some IKEA paintings or stuff that you can put up in your house. That's artwork, but it's more
I think it took a
benign.
sector of the market. I think it took the people who have low budget, who don't want to spend. I think more people are buying from Walmart than they are from, let's say, their friend that's an artist. They're hanging like TJ Maxx, Home Goods, prefab artwork than they are asking their neighbor to paint them a picture. You know what I mean?
Maybe I don't.
Are you just disagreeing with me to disagree with me?
No, I just don't have any experience where all the people were just buying a bunch of artwork from their neighbor. Like, I don't remember
Okay, maybe
that ever
no.
happening.
Well, no, I'm saying
We
if
just
you have
had
a
bare
friend,
walls and pictures.
if you have a friend that's an artist, which some people do have friends that make art, and it's like usually those friends put art up in their own home. But it's like if you said, "Oh, will you paint something for me?" versus, "You know what? I'll just go to the store. I don't really care." That's who I think that Walmart's captured. They've captured that people who could have spent $50 on a friend's painting, but it just instead decided to spend $50 on a hotel, I guess, painting. You know what I mean?
Oh, hotel painting. Yeah.
A prefab,
Yeah.
uninteresting. I don't know. Those happen. I always think those are made by humans. They're just made by people that are underpaid in other countries.
Well, I think probably a machine just stamps them out.
At this
So-
point, okay, we're talking about a print. Okay,
yeah,
fine.
I don't think they sell actual paintings at Walmart anymore. I think it's just all prints.
Well,
of
even the
a
artist whoever the original artist was, we obviously don't know what we're talking about. I have seen like actual Instagram artists say, "Hey, my stuff's in Target now," and it is prints, but it's their original work. So we have to know a difference between like someone's original artwork that's been mass produced and a machine that's made it up, AI, or a person in an underdeveloped country that's being exploited, and then that stuff gets mass produced. Like there's 3 different types of art happening.
I don't, to be honest, I don't know if any of that's happening. I guess it's something where I don't know how it's done, but I just
Now
know,
I know you're being contrary,
No,
just to be contrary, because I gave you 3 very obvious things that exist in the world, and you're like, no, I don't know that any of that exists. Well, let me talk to you about Twitter real quick.
Okay, well, I'm not trying to be contrarian because I'm not. It's just, you say someone in a less developed country is being exploited to create artwork. It's like I know they create tennis shoes, but I didn't know they create artwork. What artwork are we talking about here?
Oh, I heard like art fairs that used to get advertised on local TV, like come to this art fair and save money on discounted artwork. And then I don't know. I don't know if it was 2020 that I doubt they did an expose, but someone said, "Oh, those are actually not by local artists. They're usually imported and they're by people who are, just making a bunch of stuff and not
Oh,
getting any of the profits for it." I don't know.
I did not know that.
Day laborers. I don't really know it either. You're right. You busted me. I made it up.
It's a bunch of elementary school kids. It was an art project they were assigned, and
Yeah.
now it's being sold at
Grade schools, you're right.
flea
Grade
market.
schools have way too much art that they've collected over the years. They had to do something with it, and that's where we get those. Well, here's something about art and money. Grimes, who we know as the mother of, a Twitter owner's kids, says
That's one way to describe her.
she tweeted recently, "I'll split 50% royalties on any successful AI generated song that uses my voice. Same deal as I would with any artist I collab with. Feel free to use my voice without penalty. I have no label and no legal bindings." So she gives her blessing. And for one, my first reaction is, wow, she and her whole family, her whole marital unit love computers, I guess, that they're like investing in the future of AI. But my friend's reaction was, that's hard for me to see this as anything other than, hey, you do the work and I'll take 50%.
Well, is anybody actually doing the work though? If it's AI generated, it's
How much work is being done?
yeah. What work is being done, and what are people claiming is being done? So I don't know. I saw, I've seen some paint AI generated paintings. So you've probably seen them too. Like they just started popping up on the internet and Twitter and Instagram.
I've seen digital art. Are you talking
Yes.
about it looks like a painting or it looks like a
Yes,
photograph?
yes, it looks like a painting.
Okay.
So, and some look like photographs.
Yeah,
too.
the kind I've seen looks like cartoonish photographs.
Yeah, which I would say that looks like a painting more than it looks like a actual photograph, because it doesn't look like real people. It looks like a caricature.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen one that was all these presidents, but if they were pro wrestlers. So we had all of the presidents, every one of them as a pro wrestler.
Fun.
And it's funny and it's kind of interesting, but is that the same thing as art? Or is it the person who created it, who had the idea? Is that a way for them to express themselves?
Mm-hmm.
But this is just the AI is a way for them to bridge the gap between their ideas and their talent. Like they could, because you could paint, a really talented artist could come up with this idea and hand paint them.
Right.
But they're not. It's just
Well,
AI
to me,
generated.
I don't know the difference between AI and Photoshop in that case, because like people have been doing that for years. They're doing these little mashups. What if we made these puppies look like they were cupcakes? And then, you have a bunch of heads on cupcakes, in wrappers. So I would say, yeah, it's still art because someone thought of it. And when you say how much effort went into the AI song, I think that's the whole point of like, you could make the same argument against people producing modern day music where they're sampling, they're using technology, they're using computers, they're having a synth on repeat, like you can loop a sound where it's not a human being batting a baton. I don't know.
Batting a baton.
Batting a baton against a thing. That's how I describe drumming, by the way.
That's
Hitting a drumstick against a drum skin is not the same thing as like having a machine repeat that sound. Mm-hmm. So, it doesn't take the same effort. And we've been doing that for years. So I don't know. Where do you draw the line? Where do you draw the line?
Once it starts getting into comedy, that's where I draw the line. Or AI generated comedians.
Listen to this guy. He does a great Luke there.
Yes, and to me it's kind of, if you get AI generated comedy, what's the difference between that and just somebody buying a joke book and telling jokes from a joke book? It's not a actual human being creating something and saying, hey, these are my original ideas. This is my point of view. This is how I can make you laugh. It's not a skill developed. It's just something that you read from a joke book, or in this case, you type into an AI and say, make me laugh.
A man that wrote a joke book is crying right now. He's listening to you and going, but I thought of all of those.
Yes.
All those puns. No, I hear what you're saying. You can't borrow from a joke book and act like it's your original material. Mm-hmm. But how do you feel about people who used to write for other comedians past vaudeville, but before the 70s? Somewhere in the 50s and 60s. are they hacks to you? That is Milton Berle, who had writers for him, or maybe George Burns, who had writers for him, not good? Or
No, that's a part of a commerce of comedy. If you're a very busy comedian and you don't have time to write all the jokes, you can hire somebody. It's part of the give and take of commerce of comedy. So
like a late night host has a staff of writers,
right? Because Jay Leno had a 15-minute monologue every night. Well, he doesn't have time to write 15 minutes of material every day, so he has to have lots and lots of comedians send him jokes, and he picks out the ones he likes, and then he puts his flair into them. But it's not the same thing as his act and the material that he really hones. And
I would argue he wouldn't have a show to have a bunch of writers helping him if he hadn't done all that the backlogged work. And that's why I think AI for actors makes a little bit more sense, like voiceover artists, of which I am one, usually for commercials, but like if I ever did a video game or something, and I had done a series of successful ones and I couldn't, show up for the next recording, they're like, that's okay, we've got enough of them in the bank, we can just like generate your voice and have them say your lines.
I'm against it.
Are you?
I'm very
Why?
against it. Because, well, that's nice if you're super famous and you've played the role of Luke Skywalker for the past 50 years, and they want to go back in time and show you as a younger man, so they AI generate your image or your voice the way it sounded then, or if you've passed away, you've given permission that they can use that in something so they can keep you as part of this legacy. It's a little different than an Utz potato chips deciding that they are just going to use a AI generated actor for a voiceover on their radio ads.
Oh,
because
I see what you mean.
They would just cut you out completely.
You're right. Then there's no human ever paying their dues and earning the right to lend their likeness and earn money off of the likeness. I guess I'm talking about it when it comes to like autopilot, where you're like, I've learned how to become a pilot. I'm going to take 5 and let this machine do the flying for now. But you're saying when it comes to like the total takeover of woman's voice, or like I was describing a secretary that's just a hologram essentially welcoming people into a corporation, then that's my problem too. That I said it takes away a job that a human could potentially have and want. Now, if we could get AI to replace people who have to clean toilets, then no human would ever have to clean a toilet again. Not that that's the worst job in the world, but it's low on my list of priorities.
Like Rosie the robot, which is kind of what we're doing. Instead of Terminator, we really are going to more of the Jetsons, where we have these robots taking over the jobs that nobody wants. Well, even even the jobs that they could be skilled at.
Yeah.
But I think you have to have a human touch to a lot of these things. Even a voiceover for a commercial, there's an art to it. There's a skill that people are putting into it. They're acting. They're giving warmth. You're
not kidding. I mean, I just did a voiceover audition, and it took a lot of takes to sound like I was warm.
Right, and it just takes time to learn the craft. If you just AI generate it, I think that at some point you just end up, things are going to be vanilla. They're going to be bland. It's because I think, especially when you're talking about executives of whatever company, whether it's in any industry, they tend to be a little more boring. They're not as artistic. They're not as colorful as artists tend to be. Artists that wake up at noon or live in a loft with 12 other people or, spend years deciding that they're working on a single piece of art and, keep coming back to it. That's something you can't just replace by AI doing something in a snap of a finger. Like, we've got a painting now. It's like, yeah, but what about the ones that toiled and painted over something and go, no, that's not quite it. And they wrestle with the art form.
Right. That's, I have many thoughts. None of them are really all that interesting, but I have the same qualm with 3D.
Well, then don't do those ones.
Okay, forget those. But let's get to the good one. 3D printers are similar to me, but granted, I don't know the work or effort that goes into them. But it's like, what does the human do when it comes to 3D printing something new? Do they just say, I wish I could have a box that opens that's in perfectly geometrical shape, that's a hexagonal, but I don't want to be a carpenter and carve it all myself, so I just type in these little dimensions, clickety clackety, and then the machine does it all. So how can a human take credit for that?
Well, yes, I think that's a tool though. And so the difference there is how many people actually have the skill to
To
woodwork,
clickety clackety?
to clickety clackety. But I'm just saying,
Oh,
like,
to be a carpenter.
to be a carpenter or to carve something, the skill level is not. There's not a lot of those people for the demand. So if the
Okay.
demand is high, then you kind of need to have people that can do it.
Yeah.
And if, especially for things that are manual labor, for example, welding jobs are always in high demand because there's not a lot of welders that have learned how to do it. And especially underwater welding, it's like super hard to get these people. So they get paid a lot to do it. So if you could have a little robot that could do
Yeah,
this
I can't
for
believe
you.
we don't have a underwater robot welder. They don't need to have oxygen. They can just keep functioning underwater.
Yeah, well, anything that requires safety like that, you probably have to have people overseeing it.
That's a
But
good point.
and so I would say for the safety of the republic, we need to make sure that we have humans involved in the process of all of this.
Okay, I think we also agree that when it comes to human connection, we want humans to stay involved, not AI. So, like dating, if you found out, like, here's a Hinge or type dating site, but every option is AI. So pick your favorite, pick the look you like, and then they'll never disagree with you.
Which is kind of like catfishing. Now you can catfish with
Yourself, essentially.
Yeah, with somebody that actually looks like a human being, sounds like a human being, which before catfishing always seemed to be like, I'll just put up a picture of myself. But now you could have an actual image that would be
Well, yeah.
talking to the person.
I thought of this as a movie concept back when I learned about Britney Spears. I was listening to her on the radio, but I hadn't seen her yet. I just thought, what if you could hear somebody on the radio and suddenly they're popular? Because I kept hearing her when I was a teenager. I would and drive to school. I would hear her before I knew why people liked her so much. So she kept getting requested on the radio all the time. And I thought, can you do that with anybody? Can you just tell them this thing is really popular, it's really cool, you're gonna love it, and they have never seen the real human behind it? Now, I think later, or maybe around that same time, they had the movie called Wag the Dog. I think Dustin Hoffman's in it. I think Robert De Niro might be in it. But it's about what if we manufacture a war, where it's all smoke and mirrors essentially. It's all video footage, and we'll hire actors to look like people in a country, and that way, the U.S. will have a win where no one actually gets hurt. And so this idea of duping people to get, I don't know, what you want, to get money in the case of the pop star idea that I had, or the movie I was going to write,
The pop star that you don't ever see them is Sia. You're talking about Sia. You just know her music. You don't ever see her.
Do we know she's real? No, her and Daft Punk. And when you can't see the artist, are we sure they're even doing it? At least Milli Vanilli came clean.
What's that guy's name? Marshmello?
Who is that guy? There's a new guy named Marshmello.
Isn't that guy? He's just got a marshmallow head. He's
I don't know.
He's one of those DJs. You don't know.
I love that idea though. There was DJ Mouse. There was like some kind of mouse that wore a mouse head. I don't know if we've ever seen any real DJ's face, to be honest. Not since Sam Ronson have I seen a DJ's face.
Well, all of those things are relational and about relationships, and so there's that. And we kind of buried the lead this week where it's our anniversary.
Hey, and I'm a real human and you're a real human.
Yeah, we're actually really married.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah.
And this is our 14th, as you and I both figured out. You love to do math, so I always have you do the year. But I wanted to actually ask you, do you want to play a game with me?
Okay, I'll play a game. Let's
Great.
do it.
Thank you.
Why not? Out of the spirit of anniversary and togetherness, I will play the game.
I don't know if you remember this, but back early in our married days, I was trying to keep track of the appropriate material gift. So on year 1, I gave you a gift that was this material. On year 2, that material. I don't want to tell you the materials. I want you to randomly guess between years 1 and 10. So you get 10 chances at materials to guess how many you can get right. And I will give you a hint. This is gifts that are recommended, and keep in mind that people are not wealthy in their early years of marriage. So the materials are fairly easy to purchase.
Okay, so like every year there's a different item that you're supposed to buy, but not just an item. It's like first of all, I'll just guess cardboard.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's a material, and you would get a gift that, like a greeting card if you said cardboard, or a box of cereal would be the gift that you give your
Okay,
spouse.
so I just went basic for
You got
year
cardboard.
one.
Okay,
Cardboard.
next.
So you want me to guess all 10, and then you'll tell me how close I am.
How many you got right? Yeah.
Okay, we'll start with cardboard. We'll go with a gallon of milk.
Great.
3 would be because I gotta make them better and better, right?
Yeah, it's like a Price is Right game. Like, how do I make them
Right.
increase in value?
A seedless watermelon.
Okay. Whoa. This
Uh,
is not supermarket sweep.
I know that I don't know if these are even materials. If I'm doing this right, so 4 would be a wood. We'll just say wood.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say like a plank.
You're amazingly close so far. All right,
Okay.
next.
Wood. So year 5, we'll say iron.
Okay.
Uh,
What would the gift be for iron? What comes to mind for you? Not a supplement, but like actual.
well, the metal iron.
Oh, wrought iron gate? I don't know. What would you give someone that's made of iron?
Well, there's irons.
Oh, like an actual iron.
There is yes.
That's nice.
There's also
I like
pans.
that. Oh,
like
yeah, cast iron.
iron.
That's great. Okay,
So,
you're very
yeah.
clever. All right, you got 5. Next,
Okay.
6.
Then I'll go stainless steel
Okay.
for 6. Um, 7 would be.
It's almost like you made this list.
I know. What would be a good a brass?
Okay.
And
Here's a trumpet, honey.
and then I'll go. What are we on now?
You have year 8.
This is 8.
You got 2 more years left, or 8.
Okay, 8, and then 2 more years. So I will
I
say.
should have written down what you said. I'm gonna go ahead.
Oh boy, what would be after that? Leather.
Okay.
Okay, and so
Sexy.
it's not that guy. It's more like it's not patent
Oh, you're
leather.
thinking like a wallet, like something that lasts a long
Yes,
time.
I was thinking
Symbolic.
more Harley Davidson leather
Oh.
than Catwoman leather.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Okay, and then I never did canvas, but I'm not going to go backwards. So
It's not too late. Make
this is
year 9
9.
canvas. Like a painting makes sense.
9 would be a cubic zirconium.
Ooh, I like that.
not real diamond. And then 10, I think that if I remember correctly, diamond is like something like 50. So it's
Okay, so we won't go as high as diamond.
I will go some sort of oil-based paint. I don't know how those work, but I will just
Yeah,
say.
no, I like that. Okay, so first of all, I will give you a lot of credit that you got a lot of the materials right. You just didn't get the years correct.
Okay.
So, for example, leather is year 3.
Okay.
So for year 1, you said cardboard. It's actually paper. So I'm going to give you that one.
Okay, that's pretty close.
Even though cardboard sounds really janky.
And by the way,
mean.
I couldn't care less about this topic.
know.
Like, I do not care about materials. I don't like.
But you're like a
anniversaries
trivia king, so it makes sense.
Yeah, anniversaries are fine, and I like. I'm happy that I'm married to you, but it's not the same thing as being a kid at Christmas. So it's not like, oh, I can't wait for this to happen.
You're right. We never really played it out that way. I mean, yeah. Anyway, so let me just tell you the rest of the order since I
Sure.
I forgot to write down. I'm going to retake that. I forgot to write down everything you said, but year 2 was cotton. I know you didn't say that. Year 3 is leather. Year 4, you said wood, but it's actually fruit or flowers. So whenever you said watermelon, you were like almost right on the money.
I know.
You were
I
just
think
2 years ahead.
Watermelon was 3.
No, I
year
thought that was
3.
number 2, right?
No,
Cardboard watermelon?
No,
Okay.
it was a gallon of milk.
Yeah. I'm sorry, milk is not one of the materials because too many people are lactose intolerant. Year 5, you said iron, but the answer is wood, which is you already got.
Okay.
Year 6, you said stainless steel, but it's actually iron. So good job.
Okay.
I can't believe you got these. Year 7, you said brass, but the answer is copper
Oh, okay.
or wool. You can give her a sweater.
Those are 2 very different types of material.
Completely different. In fact, with year 6, you can have candy or iron.
And
I would rather
copper's
have
worth
candy.
a lot more than cotton. So.
Year 8, you said leather. It's actually pottery or bronze.
These are very weird because I think bronze, especially copper, copper tubing, like people go break into homes and steal copper tubing. Nobody's
Yeah.
breaking into like a home and pulling out all the cotton out of the pillow and taking it and
Taking
selling
the
it.
wool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but maybe it
I
has
guess,
to do
did you
with.
say wool or cotton? I thought you said cotton.
No, cotton is actually number 2.
Oh, okay.
Year
So,
2 is cotton, but I said wool or copper. But the thing is, maybe this dates back to a time where you're supposed to be like having a blacksmith make this for your loved one. So it's like
a horseshoe.
a copper statue. So anyway, you said leather for year 8. The answer is actually pottery or bronze.
Okay.
You said cubic zirconia for year 9, and the actual one is willow or pottery. Again with a pottery.
I don't know, like Willow, the little man from
Yes,
the Middle Ages. Is he an elf? I don't know.
You get that actor to come to your house and sing a telegram to your wife. Okay, and the last year for 10, you said, how about a painting of some sort? And the answer is tin or aluminum. Which aluminum? All I think of is foil. I don't know why that would be good.
You can also make car engines out of it. You can.
So a strong, sturdy material.
It is strong and light.
So anyway, I'd say congrats to you. You practically nailed it, more so than I would. Although with milk, I was really hoping you'd start to go rogue and just start to list junk foods. The 14th year for us is actually gold jewelry, but I'm not into it.
We're not Italian. That's what I picture.
What am I, a wrestler?
Just a gold chain, like on the rock.
So
what was that, year 12?
that's, it's our year. Year 14.
Oh, year 14. So year 13 is a fanny pack.
So I'm telling you, I'd rather skip ahead to year 16 because that one is coffee. I don't know why it took them so long to get to coffee. I want that now.
Well, because by year 16, you're getting a little bit older and you need something to keep you awake. To celebrate.
Year 17 is Metamucil.
Yeah.
Year 18 is a Depends diaper.
All right, so that was a fun little game. I don't know if I win or lose.
I'm giving you a A+ on that one.
Points.
So what do you think? Do you have any memories of gifts I've gotten you? Because I remember one thing I got you through the years. I don't remember every year our anniversary gifts.
Off the top of my head, I don't remember a single anniversary gift.
Okay, see if this rings a bell. Because for year 2, our second anniversary, the year was cotton. I looked it up, and I got you a cotton candy machine from Bed Bath & Beyond.
I vaguely remember that, but we didn't. Did we take it back?
Yes, good memory. We took it back because every time you turned it on, little pieces of floss would float up to the sky and
Cotton
stick.
floss.
Yeah, the little candy floss would stick to the cabinets, and I got tired of scrubbing those.
Yeah.
So by the second week, I took it back. I was like, this isn't gonna work. And who eats cotton candy that often?
No, but first of all, nobody uses any of the Bed Bath & Beyond stuff more than once or twice. There's just a couple things that they sell that are, it's like the as seen on TV stuff.
They're such gadgets. It's like a Snoopy snow cone machine. They always make a new version of that.
It's way more complicated and frustrating. And you spend $50 on a snow cone machine or $100. You use it twice, and it would have been better to just have snow cones twice.
Yeah.
That you went out and paid $1 for.
Even if you went out of town and just treated your family to some shaved ice there, it's like you're saving money. I know. I can't tell you how many times I've bought a gadget and then thought, you know what? I don't really... Boughten? Did I say boughten?
I can't tell you how many times I've bought stuff.
Why isn't boughten a word?
It feels like old English.
It's a great word.
He hath bought.
Milady. Okay. I can't tell you how many times I have bought a gadget and then said to myself, "Oh, you know what? I don't really need flower-shaped butter." I don't want that as often as I thought I did.
It's a butter press.
Yeah.
What is a
So yeah, well, you remembered at least, but I did take it back. I hope I got you something in exchange.
Yeah, and I'm sure we've gotten each other stuff, but I know certainly it became a lot more of let's just go out to eat or have
oh yeah, most of it
dinners
was
and lunches.
You cooked a really cool meal for me once. I cooked a really good meal for you once. I'm remembering the meals.
Yeah.
Steak
so I think that's
Wait,
much better. And
surf
which,
and turf.
I don't even know. Are you supposed to buy other adults gifts, like friends gifts for their anniversary or anything?
Well, I was just about to say, what do you think would be a good gift? Because I would, if we were invited to their anniversary party. But you know what I would get someone instead of just dinner out? I would give them a babysitter. Or a maids. I would get a maid for their house. You know what I mean?
That's sending a message. Your house is disgusting, so I got you a maid.
No, the message is take a load off.
Yeah, see,
we know what your life is like.
I'd be very upset if somebody bought us a maid.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Oh yes, for one, we did a maid once. And this is years ago.
Why did we do that?
Because it was one of those Groupon deals. They were like,
right.
Hey, just try this out
Mary
and see what you like.
Yeah.
And it was like, here, they'll clean your place for 2 hours for $12.50. And I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
okay, I'll try
Everything
it.
about that sounds wrong.
Okay, I'll try
Oh my gosh.
Everything
Everything about that sounds wrong.
I know the whole time it just felt horrendous to me. I'm
Well,
like,
first we're picking up before she gets over there.
I know we clean it first, and then I don't even feel comfortable asking her to do the things. Like, can you clean my tub? Can you do this? Because I think you have to be raised with money and have developed a really horrible sense of your place in the universe to
Yeah.
be able to order people to clean up after you.
I think so too. Also, my another misconception I had was that someone would come in excited to do that work.
I know.
Like, hello, I'm here. Leave it to me. Everybody, go have a lemonade and watch TV. I'm gonna scrub your windows. And in the end, it was just like someone like, all right, let me see, what can I do here? And she did the countertops and like glass tables. And then I was like, are you gonna scrub the cabinets? Like I kept asking, are you gonna
Yeah.
do this? And she was like, I can.
Yes, and it's uncomfortable. And I witnessed this happen at somebody else's house recently. They had a maid, and I don't know if they were ordering them around or not because the person spoke Spanish, but both the worker and the person that had them hired them.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
But at one point I saw the cleaner on the floor cleaning almost like a bureau. I don't know if that's what you would call it, or it's not a dresser because it's out in public.
But it was made of wood.
But it was made of wood and had very intricate woodwork on the front, and they had a toothbrush, and they were cleaning every crevice of that. And I felt bad even like walking through the room. I was like, I feel like I shouldn't even be. You look like you're being punished, and you should be locked in a tower somewhere,
Yeah,
forced to clean something.
I saw
like
that
this.
scene in Full Metal Jacket. I think they had to do that
Yeah,
in that movie.
you're either in the army or you're the man in the iron mask doing that job. And I'm like, I don't want to see this.
You're Edmond Dantes in
I
the
know,
Count
I'm
of Monte
like,
Cristo.
This is the 21st century. We should not be having this relationship with other human beings.
You know, that reminds me, I did a quick voiceover job. It was very low key. It was for an app or something, and it was in a tech guy's house. But when I say tech guy, he was my age and he had a tiny apartment. Nevertheless, he was a bachelor, and a woman came at the same time I was there, and she came to clean his house, and she went right into the bathroom and started scrubbing the toilet. And I thought, okay, I get why you would have that because you've never learned how to do it yourself. But when we had the Groupon house cleaning service come by and I watched them do everything, I thought, I can do all that. I have Windex. Like, I had every product she had, and I had the gloves and I had the rag, and I was just like, I don't know. I feel like I should take this into my own hands.
I don't know. And I guess it's providing a job for someone. But I definitely feel like I don't feel comfortable asking you to do these things. And maybe even some part of me that's like, oh, why do I live so messy that you need to come clean my place
What's
up?
wrong with me?
Yeah.
I know, but I feel the same way when I went to Bob Evans, or Bob Evans, as I can get no one to call it with me. And they had oatmeal on the menu. And I'm like, you guys should be excelling in pancakes and hash browns that I can't make at home. But when it comes to oatmeal, this is insulting. I can make that.
Well, the problem was it was instant oatmeal from a Quaker Oats packet.
It was.
You saw them rip it open and pour it in and just put some hot water on it.
You better believe it was. At least that's what I was telling myself. I'm like, this is the pits. So yeah, should we buy presents for others? Definitely not a maid service. I don't even know if you're allowed to call them maids
Now, if
anymore.
we could get AI generated maids, then I'd be fine telling.
That's what I'm saying.
Telling a computer or a robot to do it.
Rosie, clean my toilet.
And that's how Judgment Day happens in Terminator 2. Is that they don't show
They get
that part.
sick of it.
Yeah, they just had the robots cleaning the house, and they're like, all right, we're done with this.
Yeah, the robot uprising is surprisingly quicker than a human revolt.
Yeah.
It doesn't take 10 years.
We'll
It takes-
survive the nuclear holocaust, but you won't. So.
Yeah, pretty much. Do you have to give presents? You don't like giving presents to adults, do you?
It's a weird dynamic when you're talking about adults, because I think it's fun to give gifts. I do like that, but in terms of it's present etiquette that I would say.
Yeah.
So I think it's fun to say, hey, I thought of you. Yeah. So a friend of mine, we would exchange video games or, do something like that. Or like, hey, I saw this T-shirt, really made me think of you. Here you go. Mm-hmm. That's a different dynamic than I'm an adult and you're an adult and it's Christmas time and here is my list of things I would like. And it's like, oh, wait, what do you mean your list?
A cast iron skillet?
Yeah.
Can't you buy that?
Right. Right. Because adults, we work. We can buy our own things. So it's, I understand. Like I do this with my family. We have
Yeah, you have a
the gift
specific
exchange.
list. You'll provide things you want.
You make the. I think the idea there though, the list is more of like, here are some ideas for what I would like, so that you don't put all the pressure on somebody else, especially in a random hat drawing of names
Who you see once a year.
Yeah, where it's like, oh, here's the third cousin that caught my name, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I've seen him like twice. I don't really know what to get him. You don't put that pressure on to be like, I know him and I know what to get him. But there's a difference between that and having somebody just hand you a list. And these are the 5 things I would like you to get me. It's and like I don't remember even agreeing to us having a gift exchange here. So
Yeah, I don't have too many friends that do that, but I think I do want to know specifically from them what they could use. Like I want a general. I don't know. I can't decide if I'm the kind of person that wants to know the one thing you want and then I'll get it, or if I want to know 5 things and I'll pick among them. You're a pick among them kind of guy, aren't you?
I'd rather be a pick amongst them.
Yeah.
And I would like there to be some creativity in it. And so I like that. I don't want you to get me the Walmart painting just because it falls within our dollar limit of what we were going to get. I think like even a white elephant gift exchange, sometimes they're gag gifts, sometimes they're not, but usually they're like, yeah, it has to be $5, between $5 and $10. Because there's always somebody that tries to go really cheap on it. Like, I bought something at the dollar store, but then the gift I'm getting back
But it looks like it's $5 worth.
So yeah, that's what I don't want it to look like some robot generated this gift for me.
Well, yeah, I think I like when game shows offer prizes, so I do think it's okay to get adults, big ticket items that they need, especially if you can afford it. But the one thing when you said like it has to have some creativity involved, I think that's a lot of pressure to put on yourself, because I had a friend that wanted to get you something. She often gets me gifts, and she knows me through and through, so she always gets me a cool gift. But she's like, I'm always sending gifts to your house. Let me send something to your husband as well. It was a family Christmas gift. And she said, what does he like? And I was like, oh, he's really into X, Y, and Z. And she's like, okay.
Yeah.
And she thought, that's hard to personalize. And she's, and I forget what she ended up getting you, but I just thought, like, I kept talking to her, like, trust me, just get him this, exactly that. This is what he wants. He doesn't want a variation of it, on a theme. Because I know my mom found out you like Beatles early on when we were dating, and she got you an anthology of their songs. But that's not the same thing as enjoying listening to their music. It's just like, if you were a collector of Beatles stuff, it would be like, oh, these are the lyrics. But for us, it was a coffee table book that we thumbed through a few times, and then we just didn't ever pick up. So
yeah, and that's a thoughtful.
It's very creative.
Thoughtful, creative gift, and so I'm okay with gifts that aren't used much. So like, oh hey, it was fun to play around with this for a couple times, but I got enjoyment. I got the connection between us. It's like, oh, you really thought of me, like that Beatles book. Hey, you really thought of me. You really made it an interesting gift. It's not necessarily meant for me to keep for the rest of my life or to read over and over and over again. The connection was made and it was perfect. I'd rather you do that than spend 10 times the amount on something that's like, I don't know why you got me a turtleneck
Beatles
sweater.
Cover band.
Yeah.
In Duluth.
Yeah.
I got you tickets to see them.
Yeah.
So, a turtleneck sweater. Yeah, I get what you mean.
So the point being is that anybody out there that wants to get us an anniversary gift, go for it. We prefer cash.
Thanks for joining us today. If you had a great time, let us know on social. Follow Kid is in School on Twitter and The Kid is in School on Instagram. Subscribe so you don't miss our next episode. Be sure to throw us one of those 5-star ratings and share with your friends. Oh, and do it quickly before the kid gets home.